If your brain is fried, you're just overwhelmed, and you're starting to doubt yourself in flight training, this video is for you. And if we're just meeting, my name is Charlie Gassmeyer. I'm a commercially licensed pilot and aircraft owner here in Dallas, Texas, and I'm totally obsessed with helping people become pilots and aircraft owners. And my goal in this video is to help you accomplish that in some small way. So I want to just first level with you and tell you that if you're feeling tired, overwhelmed, and in doubt, you're not alone. You're also not crazy to think that this is hard. Like, take a glance down at the view count of this video, and unless you're the first person watching it and the view count is 0, sorry, there are that many other people that clicked on this video feeling the same exact way that you do. They're maybe feeling tired, overwhelmed, or in doubt. Look, social media makes it feel like everyone else is crushing it except for you. But the reality is that no one's really posting, very few people are posting the hard parts. They're just posting the highlights. So if you are saying you're struggling, there's not something wrong with you. You're just being honest. And all of us, or a lot of us, are feeling that same way. So you're definitely not alone. But just know that it is doable. I've gotten my private instrument, commercial, multi-engine commercial, seaplane rating, tailwheel endorsement, gotten checked out in a turboprop. Not saying any of that to brag. I'm just saying, like, in all of those experiences, I have felt very intimidated with every single one of them. Like, all of them have been hard and challenging in their own way, but it's doable. And so just know, first off, like, if you're feeling down, like, you're not crazy and you're not alone. And one thing that you have to remember if you want to finish your flight training is that aviation is generally difficult because of the quantity of the information, not necessarily the quality of the information. In other words, no one single topic is usually like that hard to comprehend. Some things are harder than others, but none of it is actually brain surgery or rocket science, or like my high school football coach liked to say, rocket surgery. Come on, Gassmeyer, it's not rocket surgery. It's usually just the volume that's intimidating. But not only is the ground knowledge hard because of the quantity, the flying portion is kind of the same way if we think about it. Like climbs, descents, turns, etc. Those aren't really that hard by themselves. But when you combine all of them with slow flight during landing, and it's all happening at once, and again, it's the volume here that becomes challenging. It's the quantity of information or tasks, not necessarily the quality of the information or tasks. But take hope in the fact that you've probably already done something similar like this before. Do you remember how hard it was to merge onto the highway when you were first learning to drive? That was like one of the most intimidating things. Check your mirrors, accelerate, merge while turning, do it all at the same time. But now you do this every day without a problem. And if we're being really honest, half the time you're doing it while eating a cheeseburger and talking on your cell phone at the same time. Like, I know that flying is obviously a lot harder than driving for sure, but like, take that data point and know that your brain is very capable of generating muscle memory whenever you learn a new task. And actually, your brain wants to create that muscle memory so it can reserve its processing power for more threatening things or other things. That's why we can take showers without, like, we can totally check out in the shower because we have so much muscle memory of how to wash our hair or how to drive. And so your brain is wanting to do this. And so take hope that flying can absolutely be the same way with time. And if you can push through and stick with it, the coolest transition is coming for you as a pilot. And that's when you will start to make those control inputs and decisions without consciously thinking about it. You'll respond to an ATC transmission like you're fluent in a new language. You won't really think about it. You'll throw in a little touch of power during the flare because you notice your sync rate is increasing. You'll fly a tail dragger and you make rudder inputs to keep the airplane straight during takeoff and landing without really thinking about it. And to me, this is the best moment of learning to fly. Yes, soloing is awesome and that's a cool accomplishment, but this is even cooler if you think about it, because this is the moment where you're not just operating an airplane anymore, you're flying. And that is totally different. The airplane is becoming an extension of you, and it's amazing and poetic and encouraging, and this moment is coming for you. But whether it's that moment where you start doing things without really having to think about it, or maybe it was just landing for the first time without the help of your instructor, make sure to celebrate the small wins. I know you're working towards your check ride, and that's the ultimate goal. So like for me, I'm like, I'm not gonna celebrate till I'm done. It's like, okay, that might actually make you quit if you're not careful with that thought process. And so make sure to just celebrate all those little wins along the way. I know for me, it's hard for me to celebrate little wins because I'm constantly comparing my little victory to other people's massive victories, whether that's in business or aviation or fitness or whatever. But I love the quote that comparison is the thief of all joy. I think that was Teddy Roosevelt. And it applies so much to aviation and beyond. And you're probably doing this without even realizing it. Like if you say, well, I just learned some coordinated turns today, and then you go home and on YouTube watch aerobatic pilots doing all these crazy stunts, and you think, oh man, like, yeah, I learned this, but look at them, look at what they can do. The reality is, like, Well, they too at one point were learning coordinated turns before they learned how to do all these other crazy stunts and everything. And you are comparing your day 10 to their day 10,000. And it's just not a fair comparison at all. And I do this all the time, like, to be totally honest. But what I think is more helpful is to just view the guys doing the crazy stunts on day 10,000 as inspiration for what's possible. So like if your goal is to become an airline pilot or CFI or do stunts or whatever, it's like, well, have other people done it? Yes, that means it's accomplishable. So let's use that as motivation. And then instead of comparing ourselves to them, just compare you against you. Compare yourself versus where you were a day ago or a month or a year or 10 years ago. And that is going to be a much more helpful barometer of your progress than comparing your day 10 to their day 10,000. Another thing that I think will help you big time as a pilot is my favorite advice I've ever gotten from an instructor. And he told me this. He said, aviation is a new language and you just have to become fluent in it. Basically, the goal moves from just memorization to fluency. And that's a subtle difference, but really a huge one, because if you're just working on memorization, you're probably gonna get frustrated. It's like, well, crap, there's a lot to memorize. And the answer is, well, yeah, there is. But if you're learning Spanish, there's a ton to memorize too. You have to learn all the new concepts, all the new vocabulary, and you need practice and real world application. And that's why it's more of a lifelong pursuit to become fluent versus just memorize things. So I find that if I'm treating aviation as more a fluency building exercise, then I can be a lot more patient with myself and less overwhelmed that there really is that much to memorize. Now, I still believe one of the very best ways to become fluent in something is the old tried and true method of flashcards. And even if you're using a video course for ground school, you can still make your own flashcards. Just after the video is over, just take the extra 60 seconds to write down the core concepts from that video and just jot down your notes. And then at the end of it, you're gonna have your own study guide. I usually had to do this anyways for watching video courses and stuff, because it's not practical to go back and rewatch a bunch of stuff over and over and over. So I always had to write it down in some way. And if you don't want to go through all the effort of making these yourself, I did want to let you know that I recently launched my own set of study flashcards for private pilots. It's got over 350 cards in the set. It's color-coded by section and edited and approved by flight instructors. I've always felt like the info we need to know as pilots is relatively scattered. Like, some of it's in a video you watched a while ago, some of it's in textbooks, some of it's in the regulations, some is in the AIM, etc. And so what I love about these flashcards is it's all in one place right in front of me. And most importantly, you can separate the stuff you've mastered from the stuff that still needs work, and then the pile shrinks and it gives you more confidence the more you study. So I just think it's a really helpful way to both learn and then retain the information. And I'm really thankful that as of this filming, these flashcards have earned over 100 5-star reviews from pilots that are using them. So if you'd like to check them out, and also you can read through the reviews, a link is down in the description, or you can also go over to airplaneacademy.com/flashcards, and it'll take you to the right place. More than anything though, I hope these can help you in your aviation journey, so I wanted to let you know that they just recently launched. Another thing that can encourage you in flight school is to realize that the middle is by far the hardest part. I love this graph. Time is across the bottom left to right, and your emotional stage, like your optimism or your pessimism level, is on the left, up and down. So when you first start out, you have uninformed optimism about the process. You have all of this energy and excitement for accomplishing your dream, and you've not yet been met with many of the difficulties yet. So you have uninformed optimism. And as you go through your training, you start to encounter some challenges, and then you also have a long way left to go. So you start having informed pessimism. Well, as you continue, that pessimism actually gets worse, and the middle is called the valley of despair. And this is where you're most likely to quit, because it's here that you're tired, you're feeling how difficult the process is, and you have a long way to go. But if you can keep going, it gets better. It absolutely does. You'll eventually reach informed optimism as you start to see the end in sight, and you're also getting better at flying and better in ground school and stuff. And if you keep sticking with it, then eventually you'll reach success and fulfillment through achieving your goal. But I find that middle part is really jarring, especially if you're not expecting it. It's just like getting punched in the face all of a sudden. You're like, holy smokes, this is way harder than I thought. Like, where's all my optimism go? And where did it go? And I think the most helpful thing you can do in the middle is just talk to somebody, like bring someone into it. Tell your instructor, like, I'm in the valley of despair. Show them this video and they'll know what you're talking about. Like, I'm in the middle and I'm really tired. I need some encouragement. Or here's specifically where I'm struggling with. Like, get some help. There's no need to suffer in silence. You're not wrong or unimpressive for raising your hand and saying, I need help. You're just being honest, and more of us need to be honest. So reach out and get some help if you're in the middle. And I think one of the hardest parts of becoming a pilot, outside of, becoming fluent and everything, is being willing to be really bad before you become really good. I like how Alex Hormozy puts it. He says, "You're not good because you're unwilling to be bad." And he's also said this before, well, if you're starting something new, it would be unreasonable to be good at it at first. Like, of course you're bad at it. You just started. So I want you to tell yourself this. I want you to say, I want this so badly that I'm willing to be bad at it in order to become good at it. One of the challenges with flight school is we're not 8 years old when we're doing it. Like back when we were 8 and we were learning a new sport or musical instrument or language or whatever, we're usually not very discouraged by how bad we are at first. But when we're learning to fly and we're like anything over about 20 years old, we could be 20 or 80 and we're learning it, it's usually a lot more uncomfortable to be bad at something because we're used to doing things we're good at. Like think in your career, you probably, if you enjoy your career, one of the reasons you probably enjoy it is because you're probably good at it, right? And like hobbies, why do you enjoy hobbies? Probably because you enjoy working on them and you feel good at them. So when you start doing this new thing, flying, and all of a sudden you're really bad at it and you're like acutely aware of how bad you are at it, like that is an instinctively bad feeling, especially at this phase in life because you're not 8 years old anymore. But this can totally backfire in flight training because you're gonna have to be bad at it for a while. Like there's no other way. You're learning a new skill. So I like to make you understand I'm not just talking down to you. Like I'm right there with you. Like I've been flying for I think a long time now, but now I'm learning from the right seat because I'm working on becoming a CFI. And like, I do not feel confident at all from the right seat. And I too am having to remind myself like, okay, I really, really want this. I really want to become good at it. Therefore, like right now in this flight, I am willing to be bad at it. Now there's one more sneaky thing that might surprise you in flight training. Like when I got my commercial a few years ago, it almost derailed me, and I don't want it to derail you in your flight training, whether you're getting your private or anything beyond. And so in the video on the screen, I'll share with you what that is so that way it doesn't happen to you and share what you can do about it. So I will see you over in that video.